All right, if you're gearing up for the CSS or PMS exams, you know every single topic matters. But let's be real, some topics are just heavier. Environmental science is a big one, and today we're diving deep into one of its toughest challenges, land pollution. But here's the thing, we're not just going to list problems. Nope, we're going to zero in on the solutions, the systemic solutions that all come down to smart waste management. So let's get this straight from the start. This isn't about just pointing fingers at the problem. It's about finding the answers. And this question, it's something every single one of you as a future civil servant is going to have to tackle. We're talking about more than just slapping on a Band-Aid. It's about getting to the heart of the system. So let's dive in.
Okay, first things first. You can't solve a problem if you can't define it properly, right? For your exams, getting this definition right isn't just a good start. It's the bedrock of a fantastic high-scoring answer.
Okay, take a close look at the wording here. This is where you score points in an exam. You see these words? Degradation, contamination, and harm. These are your keywords. It's so much more than just, seeing trash on the street. We're talking about a fundamental chemical and physical change to the land itself. And that change affects everything, from the tiniest microbes in the soil all the way up to our own health.
So where is all this stuff coming from? Well, as you can see, there's no single bad guy in this story. You've got industrial plants releasing chemical runoff. You've got our modern farms relying heavily on pesticides. Our cities are generating mountains of waste. And of course, mining operations that literally scar the earth. Each slice of this chart is its own massive complex issue. Now, out of all those sources we just looked at, solid waste is probably the one we see every day. And it's incredibly complex. If we really want to get a handle on land pollution, we have to start by understanding our trash. So let's break it down.
This table, it really spells out just how complex this is. I mean, think about it. You can't handle a plastic bag from your kitchen the same way you'd handle infectious waste from a hospital, right? Or toxic sludge from a factory? No way. So the big takeaway here is this. Smart, effective policy all starts with putting things in the right boxes. You got to categorize it first, because each type of waste needs its own special game plan.
Okay, so we've defined the problem, and we know where it comes from. Now, let's talk about why it's such a big deal. This isn't just a little problem in one place. Land pollution creates this awful ripple effect that spreads across our environment, our health, and even our economy.
Just look at the two sides of this coin. On the left, you have the damage to the planet itself. Ecosystems collapsing, soil that can't grow food anymore. And on the right, you have the direct threat to us, to people. Those pollutants seep into our water and get into our air, leading to everything from cancer to brain damage. The link is direct, it's scary, and it's real. And if the devastating health and environmental impacts weren't enough, just look at the money. The cost to clean up contaminated land is astronomical. We're talking billions. Then you add in the loss of fertile farmland, the drop in property values in your polluted sites. You start to see that this is a massive drain on the entire national economy. Okay, enough about the problem. Let's talk solutions. And this isn't just a random list of good ideas. This is the internationally recognized framework. For your exams, the waste management hierarchy is the absolute heart of any solid answer on this topic. Okay, so the best way to think about this is like an upside-down pyramid. Right at the very top, the absolute best thing we can do is to reduce. Basically, don't make the trash in the first place. All those campaigns to ban single-use plastic bags? That's reduce right there. Everything else on this list comes after. And that last one, disposal, putting stuff in a landfill, that's our absolute rock-bottom last resort. It's what we do when every other option has been exhausted. And hey, even when we have to fall back on that last resort, disposal, there's a smart way and a really dumb way to do it. An open dump just pollutes everything around it. A sanitary landfill, on the other hand, is a serious piece of engineering. It's designed to lock that waste in and stop what's called leachate, that's the toxic garbage juice, from getting into our water supply. Making that distinction is crucial. All right, let's bring all this theory back home. How does this stuff actually apply to the real-world challenges we see in Pakistan every day? This is where you move from just knowing facts to providing real analysis, which is exactly what examiners want to see. Wow. Okay, this chart tells a really stark story. In a lot of our cities, almost half of all the trash we create just isn't collected. Think about that. Where does it go? It piles up in open dumps, it clogs our streets, it pollutes our rivers. This makes the very first step of managing waste, just collecting it, a huge, huge challenge. So why that huge gap? It's not one single thing, it's a breakdown across the entire system. People aren't separating waste in their homes. There aren't enough proper landfills. The laws we have aren't being enforced. There's not enough money. You see the pattern? These points right here, this is the kind of deep, analytical thinking that will make your answer stand out. So where do we go from here? The problems are big, for sure, but the solutions are also getting smarter. It's time to look past the old ways of just getting rid of trash and start thinking about a more complete, integrated system. And this right here is the big idea for the future: integrated waste management. It's not a rigid, one-size-fits-all plan. It's about being smart and flexible. It's about mixing and matching different strategies, public awareness campaigns, high-tech recycling plants, composting programs, to create a custom-fit solution that works for a particular city's unique needs.
Any strong strategy is going to be built on these pillars. You absolutely need tough policies from the government, and you need to enforce them. You need to invest in new tech. You have to get the public on board. You need to work with industry, not just against it. And you have to keep looking for new, better ways to do things. If any one of these pillars is weak, the whole thing can come crashing down.
So let's end with this question. Look, the problems are massive, we get that, but so are the opportunities. The real question for the next generation of leaders, and that means you, isn't just about how we clean up the current mess. The real challenge is, can we build a system that stops the mess from happening to begin with? That's the real prize here.